So Leo, this week from Lay Vampire, you pulled enlightenment, inspiration, epiphany, and innovation. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled isolation. Now, that one kind of teeters for me, but there is a warning there. But we're going to get into enlightenment first. So enlightenment, the blessing talks about how there will be a shift in your thinking and a breakthrough regarding a difficult situation. This is about independence and freedom of thought and thinking. Original stance, innovation, and strokes of genius lead to enlightenment. But the curse I'm going to have to read just because of isolation sitting here. The curse says, stuck on mental habits, trying to solve old problems in the same way, refusing to adopt new strategies and listen to advice that seems too new or different to you. And then working with this card says to make time to listen to your inner guidance, which will have bright ideas for you at this time. Attempt to move beyond habitual solutions to issues that feel entrenched. Dare to try something unusual and innovative. Now, isolation again teeters for me. This is one of those situations where some of you may have gone into protection mode and needed to back away for a while and needing some solitude. And then on the other hand, some of you may be in this isolation and having these great ideas, but you may be letting opportunities pass you by. Now, isolation, the inspiration says, do not wait for the right time to live your life. You are on the verge of something big, but if you don't participate, it could pass you by. The personal question asks if you know the difference between solitude and isolation. And of course, the key ideas are self-protection, making excuses, over-preparing, and never feeling ready to take action. So immediately I have to wonder here if, some of you had to go into protection mode. You start to get this understanding and this enlightenment. But the warning here is you have to be careful. All right, Leo, here we go. Here is the energy coming through. Nice, nice. So for some of you, this may have to do with work. But I like the feeling of the Eight of Pentacles because, this is somebody who is enjoying what they're doing, right? And they're seeing fantastic results, but it's also about refining your skills. But it is about busting your ass and doing some hard work. Now, on the other hand, some of you may be too focused on work. Like you're too absorbed in your work to see other things that are going on around you. But we will see how this plays out. But I do have a good feeling around it. And in the past, the Ten of Wands. Well, now, I'm glad that that's the past coming through. The Ten of Wands is overwhelmed, being overburdened, putting too much on yourself. And with the Eight of Pentacles, yeah, working too hard. And the other thing too with the Ten of Wands, being in a management position, I hear the word delegate being drilled into my head all day long. Definitely if you're feeling overwhelmed and you have people around you that love you and support you, say, hey, can you please do this for me? Or like I always say is, can you please do me a favor, right? But, the 10 and it being the past coming through, this is the ending of a cycle. Nice, nice. And there you are. Strength. I like that this card has a wolf. And I think it's perfect for you guys. But, the Prince of Wands in this deck has the lion moving him forward, not a horse, but strength, pulling on your inner strength. The other thing too with strength is about, patience and grace. It's a gentle force. You don't want to get, too forceful with situations, but I do think that this is about you pulling on your inner strength here. If you have a lot on your plate, you're getting control over it between these two. Absolutely. Future conditions. Ooh, the Four of Cups. So now, my thing with the Four of Cups, immediately I feel like this lethargic feeling when it comes to emotions. You're just like, blah, whatever, right? There's that feeling of looking at what you have in front of you and going, this isn't good enough, or maybe rejecting offers, rejecting work offers, possibly. Some of you not seeing new opportunities coming through, looking at isolation, right? But there's boredom. You know, the card says luxury, but it's talking about, you know, you being focused on that, but then getting bored with it and being in that emotional funk. You know, what is it that you're feeling bored about? It has the feeling of you're doing so much in the past, right? And you have the Eight of Pentacles there. This could be work. This could be work and home and dealing with all these different things and being so overwhelmed. You start pulling on your inner strength and you're like, yes, I can keep doing this. But then you get to a breaking point, I feel like, with the Four of Cups. It's like, it's almost like this isn't making you happy anymore. But then again, you know, for some of you, it may be a new opportunity coming through. And I feel like that because of the Four of Cups, because technically what's being offered there is the Ace. It's like, but are you seeing it, right? You may be so focused on what is happening here, which would make sense, that you're just not seeing it, right? And for some of you, it could be a new offer in work. I kind of get that feeling too, where it's like a new opportunity that's going to be something that you're going to enjoy and is going to be emotionally fulfilling, but I think you're so wrapped up in what's going on now that you're just not seeing the breakthrough, right, with enlightenment. Oh, your best path to follow. Get out of fantasy mode. Quit doing that shit. Don't do that to yourself. Every time I see that card, I think of somebody who is, you know, in fantasy mode and they're not seeing things clearly. You're clearly not seeing things. Debauchery, the word with this card. It talks about trying to heal depression through self-defeating means. And you don't want to do that. And the other thing too is that for some of you, this may be a situation where you may not be clearly seeing the options that are in front of you. I'm telling you, there's a feeling here of there is another option. If it comes to work, there is something better there, but I think you're so caught up with what you have on your plate right now that you just may not be seeing it. And I think Spirit is just acknowledging that it's there and that some of you may not be happy with what you're doing now. You still have the ability to pull on your own energy and pull on your inner strength, absolutely. But it's almost like you're doing it in the present moment just to get through this, but then you eventually get to the breaking point and then you're not clearly seeing that there is another option available for you. And there it is. I'm telling you. The Ace of Pentacles in your environment, there is something better. There is something better. And I do see you getting to a point here where you drop that fucking load and you get to a point where you start putting your time and effort into something that is going to be much better for you. It's just, I think maybe some of you, you know, there's the lethargic feeling here with what you're doing here. And it's creating that feeling of, you know, this is just, I'm bored with this. And, you know, you may not be seeing that there are other options because what you're dealing with in the present moment is so overwhelming that you're needing to pull on inner strength, right? But it's there, it's right there. And if you have to make a decision to leave one situation and start over, I think it has the potential for not only a lot of security, but for you to be happy. Oh yeah, look at that shit. I'm telling you, the Ten of Pentacles, your hopes and your fears, that's ultimately what you're wanting to get to, and it makes sense. But seeing the Ace and the 10 there, oh yeah, the potential there is fantastic. And you're willing to bust your ass for it, absolutely. And you've been doing it with what you're dealing with now. It's just, I don't think that you're happy with it anymore. You're not seeing the options that are available, you know, but your focus is still in the right spot because you're still willing to do what's necessary. It's just, seeing clearly how to let go of this and start moving into this. So that the Ten of Pentacles and this absolute financial security, beautiful foundation starts to manifest for you. And I can understand, because I get the feeling that, man, you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot of stuff, right? And you're busting your ass. And you're just pulling on your own strength to get through it, but truly you're just not happy with it. And there is something else. There is something else there. I just think that you guys aren't seeing it. But your focus is good. It's good. Oh, and then the outcome. Wow. The Prince of Swords or the Knight of Swords. You, I think, are eventually going to get to a point here where you're like up and after it, right? I get the feeling here because he is up and he is gone, right? This is not somebody who is going with the flow, but there is like this courageous feeling here. I'm not seeing this as a bad thing. I don't think that you're acting impulsively because I do think that you are in the right spot. I do think that you're in the right spot. Because, I get the feeling that you get to a point here where, you've been just so blah with what you're doing that, you can't see the option that's available. But I think that you get to that point and you immediately, and I mean immediately, start moving forward. And the clarity of thought here is beautiful. When you're looking at the Page of Swords, for me, there's that question of truthfulness. But the Prince of Swords or the Knight of Swords, hell yeah, he is telling the truth. And damn it, he's got something to say and you're going to listen to it. But the energy around it to me is saying that you guys are going to get to a point where you start going and you start moving fast. Because I feel like you're wanting to get away from this feeling of boredom quickly. And I'm telling you, I don't feel like you're acting impulsively or arrogantly. I think that you have thought this through long enough. And you finally get to a point where you're like, yes, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to start working toward because I'm tired of working toward this because it is not making me happy. The crown chakra. This is spirit coming in and you getting the divine message, right? It's, oh my gosh. It's your direct connection to the source and receiving the information that you need. It's perfect. It's beautiful. Whenever I see this one or the third eye, I'm like, oh, this is important. This is really important. So this chakra is located at the top of the head. This is about the higher power, the higher awareness. It is the inspiration that is coming from the divine source. The only thing that ever blocks this is your attachment to the ego. But I don't think that that's a problem. I do think that you are getting divine inspiration. I mean, it's perfect. With enlightenment, it's perfect. Things are changing. Things are changing for you. And they're going to start changing when you start treating yourself better. I love it, Leo. I love it. And I'm telling you, I get that feeling there with that Knight of Swords that you're like, I'm after it now. It's perfect. Look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. Like, I don't even need to say nothing. Demonstrate love. Find out what is important to the people you love and act on it. Leo, I love you to death. I do. My sister is a Leo sun. But you have to kind of, remember that. I don't want to be mean when I say this. You guys love attention. And you deserve it. Absolutely. But you have to remember to think about others as well. And I think demonstrate love is just saying that, everything is going to start shifting for you in a really good way. Especially with this divine inspiration you're getting. And just remember the people who are important to you, right? And when you're treating yourself, treat them too, right? Because that opens up that give and take feeling within a relationship. And look to your inner strength like, okay, right, we got it. We know. Beautiful reading. There are some difficult things going on, but ultimately you are supported by the source. Absolutely. And I do think that you guys are going to start seeing the opportunity that's available to you. It's just, it's like spirit knows that like right now you may be in a funk and not seeing it, but it will come to you and you're going to act, and it's perfect. All right, Leo. So where you come in a difficult spot, I think that you guys move out of this really quickly. This energy is going to be fast throughout this week, but I do think that for a lot of you, for a long time now, you've been busting your ass and you're getting overwhelmed and overworked. And then you're still pulling on your inner strength. I mean, right? Look to your inner strength. And I think that the reason why you're doing this, though, is because you have so much going on that you're trying to maintain, but then you get to a point here where in future conditions, like emotionally, you're just like that. Like this just isn't making you happy anymore, right? It's not depression, but emotionally, you're just not in it. And I do think that you're not seeing the option that's available to you. But it's temporary because you hit a serious breakthrough and it's there, right? It's just that I think that your emotions are going to block you from actually seeing the option that is available to you. But you'll get there. You get to the point where you see it because your focus is perfect. Your focus is exactly where it needs to be. Despite all the things that are going on around the outside, what you're really wanting, there is no reason why you can't manifest. With all of this going on, hell yeah. And I feel like you guys pull out of that isolation like a bat out of hell. And you're like, damn it, now I'm going. And I'm going after the things that I truly want. And it's perfect. It's perfect. And you are getting serious divine inspiration here. I don't see this card often, but when I do, it's beautiful. The energy around it is perfect. And between the two, perfect. It's fantastic. Things are going to start changing for you when you start treating yourself better. Treat yourself better. Stop overwhelming yourself and getting to the point where you start getting bored with the things that you're doing. And if you're not happy doing something, maybe something does need to change. But ultimately, your goal is still there. It's just you need to get out of the emotional funk so that you can start picking up the pace here and going. But overall, I do have the feeling that a lot of you went into protection mode. And I think that maybe a lot of you felt like you needed to continue doing this. But I think things are going to change by the end of the week and you're going to start working toward that security and that stability. And hell yeah, you're busting your ass for it. And there's no reason why you can't manifest this. I just think that you need to be careful about where your emotions are. And remember to pull on that inner strength. Tap into your own energy here. And don't do it because you feel like you have to continue to do something that is not making you happy. Do it because you're going to use that inner strength to start working toward the things that you actually want to see.